That looks so good. It's my shot.
It does look pretty nice.
So was that what you needed? Is there anything else, any other last minute requests or anything you might need?
I'm awesome.
Okay.
That's perfect.
That's great.
He said he would send one up. I just hope he didn't forget. Yeah, that's it.
Once again, we thank all the players for a hard year. Look forward to a little bit of football on the range here tonight at the beautiful new Q Field behind NDSF. We'd also like to take a moment and thank our sponsors. One of the sponsors that made this here possible totally, Vancouver Island Drive, or VI Drive, a huge sponsor, helped us recover from
Okay, do I have to talk or anything?
the practice facility. Also the Herald Engineering, the proud sponsor of our 50-50 game. Not a lot of people here take part in the 50-50 game, right? So your chances are pretty good of winning a few bucks. Each of us will get our chocolate, maybe with some base, or with the beef stuff.
Test 1, 2, test 3.
Also, we have
Hey, can you guys hear me?
a number of food trucks will be here. We have the Pepper Pot, we have Hojo's, the beer garden is here, and once again, there's coffee and beans for a cold, wet night at Q Field here at NDSF. We'll also take a moment and thank our friends at Quality Foods. Feed us all as we're traveling around the thing. Our friends at Mod Pizza, who's given us pizza to feed all our volunteers throughout the season. Orco Wealth Management, James Storehill, really stepped up, billeted 4 players at one time for this season. And I don't know if you've ever billeted 4 players at one time, but that's a lot of work. And a lot of driving around. So big thanks to Dave and Orco Wealth Management. There's lots of other sponsors we'll get to throughout the game. Remember, once again, the beer garden's open. There's hot dogs and stuff at Hojo's. There's Pepper Pot, which is a fantastic food truck here behind us. We'd also take a moment and welcome our folks from BCHF. We have the ambulance here tonight. They'll be doing some informational stuff on recruiting. If you've ever thought about becoming a paramedic, go on and say hi. They've got all kinds of information on what you need to do to become a paramedic. Once again, lots more sponsors to mention throughout the night. But at this time, we'll ask if you're able, please remove your hat, rise, and join us in the singing of our national anthem. Once again, a big thanks to all the players bringing it out here in the rain in the last home game for the Vancouver Island Raiders of the 22-2023 season here in Monaco. Once again, 50-50's coming up.
football aficionados and armchair quarterbacks. I'm Lorenzo Jensen. Welcome to Nanaimo District Secondary School for this evening's matchup between the 9-0 Westshore Rebels and the 0-9 VI Raiders. Definitely a tale of two teams, two cities going in opposite directions here at the end of the football regular season. But many changes on the horizon for the VI Raiders. Sean Arabsky, the current interim head coach, until Andrew Harris comes and takes the reins. But the most important thing is they're going to stick to the process. They want these players to understand the importance of mental and physical toughness and abilities, and that's really what they're here to do this evening. And even though it's a gigantic task in front of the VI Raiders to try and win tonight's football contest, you can bet they're going to be giving it their all here on home field off of Wakasai Avenue. The Rebels, 9-0. They'll probably be leaning only on their starting quarterback, maybe for the first half or so. Want to be fresh heading into the playoffs. But the other way, the VI Raiders, they're going to leave it all on the field, and they just said they just want to have fun and play football. Enjoy the game, everyone.
A big thanks to Wanda for all her contributions and help and support of the Ranger Brown Raiders. And we had the kids in football that Nanaimo play and practice with us at Caledonia earlier in the spring.
And it's just starting to come down now, as you can see on your TV screens and monitors. And thank you for joining us on Telus Optic Channel 1981. And for tonight's contest, the Westshore Rebels are going to have to catch some wet, soggy balls is what's going to have to happen. But I don't think that's going to deter their starting quarterback, T. Jesse. He's been averaging a monster 260 yards of air yardage so far this season, with a high of over 400 yards in one of the games. And his average completion attempt is nearly 12 yards. So when these guys go to the air, when T. Jesse decides he's going to air it out, the VI Raiders are going to have a task in front of them for sure. You can see them all displaying goodwill and sportsmanship here as we're about ready to get this one started. Of course, the two previous matchups this season, the opening day here, 62-0 was the result as the Rebels run roughshod, and then just a number of weeks later with a 94-15 tally over this same crew. So you can bet that the VI Raiders, the boys in black and red, are going to want a little measure of revenge as they just want to round out the season in good form and look forward to next season and everything that they can build upon with Andrew Harris, as I mentioned earlier, at the helms. And he's been doing some scouting out east, and apparently there's been a couple of interesting little gems unearthed out in the Toronto area, but we'll get obviously more on that as the days progress. But for this evening, they've got one task at hand, and that's to try and control this powerful, very potent offense of the Westshore Rebels, and they're hitting on the field now. You can see all of their feet stampeding over to their end of the field for this opening kickoff here. And this is definitely the latest that they've played here at this field here at home, and definitely under different conditions. Several of the home games this summer were over 30 degrees Celsius, but tonight just a cool 10 degrees with, they said the rain was supposed to stop, but we're getting more of it. So that's going to just wreak havoc on some of the ball control, and look for some big turnovers tonight with this inclement weather. For the Westshore Rebels, this is probably a good opportunity for them to prepare for the playoff, winter weather essentially that they're going to have to deal with.
Here we go. It's kickoff for the final game of the 2023 season. We're Vancouver Brown Raiders.
And we're just about ready to tee this one up. And there it is. End over end goes the ball, and it's collected in the backfield. There's the reverse down the far side. Oh, and a heavy tackle with the shoulder near the, looks like about the 34-yard line is where the VI Raiders will get the ball and go to work. As I mentioned, the forecast said that the rain was supposed to stop this evening. A.J. Carr with the reception there, and the reverse, good little play as he sends it over To his left to Matthew Oshdoy, who had an incredible breakout game here just a couple of weeks ago here on home field as Ben Chomaluk and company decide how they're going to open up this starting drive. Ball's snapped a bit low, but he gets the handoff away. Oh, and he breaks free over on the left side, spins around one tackle, and he takes a big hit right around the 45-yard line in a good run play and good recovery there by quarterback Ben Chomaluk to make certain that even though that ball was snapped a little bit low, he immediately got it into the hands of the man it needed to be in. And as you saw there, Riker Sansbury with the carry. And they changed that up quite nicely, getting a number of yards there. First down, Raiders. Chomaluk sends his receivers in motion, looking to his right. There's the throw, and it was tipped but caught. And a great catch, good recovery there as he really reacted well to that ball. That was Miguel Dominguez. And it looked like it was maybe touched in the air en route, but he definitely positioned himself well near the field to receive this ball. Yes, just a ever slightest of touches there by Praise Odegun. So Odegun getting his hand on the ball, but the Raiders still making yards here. About 2 yards to go. They'll try the sneak with Ben Chomaluk. They push him. Looks like he's through, and he looks like he hangs onto the ball. And it should be another first down as the Raiders start off moving the chains here early, and that's good news for Raiders fans. Good opening drive here by the Raiders. They've kind of had a little mixed bag here so far. They've gone on the ground. They've also thrown it in the air, and even though Praise Odegon got his hand on the football ever so slightly, the Raiders still making completions. Full in motion now. Now a high snap. Chomaluk, he's going to have to try and escape. And I don't know why they're stopping the play. The quarterback wasn't actually downed. It's very interesting, that play. I'm not sure. You could see the players on the field. They had their arms up. Well, regardless, the Raiders at their 42. There's the snap. Quick throw down the middle and a good catch. And getting it right up to about the 57-yard line. Great snag there, and what an opening here for the Raiders as Ruben Bonsu. He had a big play in the second quarter just a few weeks ago here at home, and he delivers another one as Ben Chomaluk fires the ball, and the Raiders are looking solid here early. Look at that quick decision, good release, and Bonsu, he had a couple of men around him. Now in motion, Chomaluk with a hurry-up offense, throws the ball, and he was nearly intercepted over on the far side of the field. Oh, that was very close as Gio Lanuzzi was perfectly in tune with where Chomaluk was eyeing up throwing that football, and he just had it come in and out of the arms. Look at that quick release, hard throw, and that's another good look at the catch there by Ruben Bonsu. Second down here for the Raiders. Chomaluk faked the throw. He's in trouble. He's all wrapped up, and that's going to be a loss of a few yards as he gets dropped around just over the center line there. And that will bring about the punting unit here. They had a good opening couple of drives, but they're lining up now to punt that ball away. And look at that pressure on the inside as Cody McMahon got his right arm all around his waist area, and there was just no getting out of that grasp. The near side official saw something he didn't like, so I'm going to readjust this play here. Looks like they just wanted to fine-tune where the ball was being placed by the Raiders. Still some delay down on the field as they get this punt situation figured out.
Much appreciated.
And now it looks like they're ready to get the play underway as it's whistled in. Here's the punt, and landing out of bounds, maybe around the 17-yard line, so it'll be interesting to see where they place it on the field. No chance for a return there with the Rebels swapping up units now, and we'll get our first look at the Westshore Rebels offensive line. They've been a powerhouse all season, and they've got multiple facets of attack, but T. Jesse looks like he's ready to get this one rolling here. A good look at Marino DeJula. Big offensive lineman. Two in motion on the left. Delivers off onto the handoff to the right, running down the far side, and finally pushed out of bounds. And that was a good run there, as he definitely moves the chains on that play. There was some good play action there as they sold the initial handoff. T. Jesse handing off nicely there, and a good carry by Garen Hardisty, and you're going to hear his name a lot this evening, number 10. A very potent running back in this league, and they coined it the battle of the two best just a couple of weeks ago when they took on the Huskers. There's another handoff. Garen Hardisty breaks one tackle, and he's now in the center line, and he takes a high shoulder before finally crashing down just a few yards over the center line. So Garen Hardisty getting in there. You can see he's already a little bit wet and soaked up here, but he's going to look even more ready for a uniform clean by the time tonight's over. Good handoff there as he protects that ball. Look at that powerful tackle at the very end there as Nathan Halyuk came in and made sure the play was over. There's the snap. T. Jesse looking, loads, throws, and that one's just over the head. He was looking for Pharrell Yakin Kenfak, but was unable to get it into his arms. He did have a secondary receiver about 7 or 8 yards more downfield, but for the moment, they're going to reload on second down. T. Jesse with a good quick look and a fast delivery, but kind of makes you wonder what they're going to do here with Garen Hardisty lining up over to T. Jesse's right. Crowd really getting into it here. There's the snap. Jesse looks to his right, throws, and it's caught in a big hit. But that's a full completion by Kieran Poissant, and Poissant, the offensive player of the week for week 8, comes flying in, making a great catch, and he's been so instrumental. And as I mentioned, 11.6 yards on average. That's what T. Jesse gets when he goes to the air, and it's got to be very close to that and more. That was picked up on the last play by Kieran Poissant. Good, strong arm, and the ball was exactly where it needed to be. Oh, look at that hit at the very end. Jacob Gilman. He's so active for the VI Raiders, and he's such an important playmaker on the team. And you can see a little confusion there as Cairo Berry coming off from the sidelines with his palms upstretched. Maybe a little bit of confusion there on the Rebels bench. Oh, they're going to have a little hydration break here as they have some of the local minor football products out on the field to help refresh the players and keep them hydrated tonight. Obviously, as we talked about, it's not as hot or sweltering as it was about a month or so ago. Remember the September 23rd game was fairly warm, but it was 2 weeks prior to that. Early September really was cooking out there on the field. So a very different environment here tonight, and that's always something that you got to factor in to these football games. The weather matters, and so does the location. First down and 10. There's the handoff to Hardisty. Opens up on the left side. He's moving around the outside. Does he have enough room? Is he going to make it in? He makes one cut to the inside, and by committee, 3 bring him down right near the goal line. I don't think it's a TD, but they certainly have the first down and some goal line action coming up here as the Raiders are going to be tested on an early goal line stand here. It's about 2 yards out. So some decisions now to be made by Dexter Janke and Rob Lervold, the offensive coordinator, and how they're going to try and punch this one into the end zone. Raiders did actually well to recover on that play and at least keep them from punching it in. There's a flag as I saw the time count violation there, so the Westshore Rebels just eating up just a little too much time on the clock, so that might back them out a few yards here from the goal line. Indeed, that's what they're doing, a 5-yard penalty, but it's not really going to change things overly much. But hey, every yard counts here in this game. So a little bit of reprieve here for the VI Raiders. Not quite a goal line stand, but they're going to have their work cut out for them here with a fresh set of downs for the Rebels. 7:20 remaining, first quarter. Thank you for joining us here on BCFC and TELUS Optic 1981. There's a snap. T. Jesse, it's in motion. He's throwing way out wide, and it's caught, and that's a touchdown. And the Rebels open up with a 6-0 lead into the arms of Cairo Berry. And I was telling you about him looking for the signal from the sidelines there as he was trying to figure out and assess how they were going to run that play. And sure enough, he just ran far to the right and connecting with T. Jesse. And even though he did have some immediate coverage from Marcus Harvey, it is indeed a good touchdown, and Cairo Berry puts the first points up on the board, and they're looking to make this 1-point conversion. There's the snap, and up and through by Marcus Jones. The kicker makes it 7-0 halfway through this first quarter. And it was a good opening drive by the VI Raiders. They pinned together some first downs, but were just unable to keep the heat up. And then there was that big catch by Kieran Poissant that really opened up the yardage and the game's first score here at Nanaimo District Secondary School. Garen Hardisty, multiple time winner of official offensive player of the week, and he's been an outstanding find for the Westshore Rebels. And number 10 is full value for the money when he's clutching onto that football. Very muscular young man, and he can really run. There's the collection in the backfield. Once again, A.J. Carr swings out to his left, gets a couple of good blocks, tries to go back to the middle, and he's going to get stopped up there. Ashton Lepard in on the tackle. And he got some help there from Jamal Sterling, the linebacker. A.J. Carr making some decent yards there on the catch as he ran it out to his right, and that'll bring about the O-line here for the VI Raiders. Speaking of Marcus Harvey, I actually saw him in the warm-up when they had the music blaring, of course, getting the players all pumped up, and Marcus Harvey was dancing up a storm out on the field. He was actually looking pretty good. He's got some good moves. Maybe not quite as good as Riker Sansbury whenever you see the BC Football Conference load up screen. So there must have been a penalty against the Raiders on the play as the ball comes way back. And it's almost deja vu from where they first placed the ball when the Rebels were just a couple of yards out. Chomaluk in deep. Gave the handoff, but they got pinned in behind, and I think that might be good for a safety here as the Raiders just in such deep territory trying to run the ball out of trouble. And Riker Sansbury tasked with a very difficult job there to try and make some yardage. And that's going to make it a 9-0 total here as the Westshore Rebels get the 2 points on that safety. Just nowhere to go for Riker Sandusbury, and you could see first person in was Cole Bunting, and the linebacker was in there so quick, and you could see he was being encouraged by Bronson Pfeiffer, who came in ecstatic at the defensive play that the Rebels were able to man there.
Let's go, Raiders!
Westshore Rebels with the ball now. T. Jesse looking to his left, throws it downfield, and that one's caught. And all wrapped up, able to escape one tackle, but Tyler Metcalf met there by Jake Smith. Jake Smith getting hold of him, but not before he made some more yardage there and picking up the first down as the Rebels continue to exercise their will here on the field, moving the ball very efficiently. And T. Jesse, calm and collected as usual. There he is with the handoff on the inside. Garen Hardisty rips through a couple, makes it over the center line until he's finally brought down by Jordan Uman-Kunzi. Uman-Kunzi getting in on the tackle there, but as I mentioned, Garen Hardisty, he's just so fast and electric, and you watch his sharp, quick little cuts. Very elusive player to try and track, and he made a good run up through the middle there. T. Jesse with the halfback right over to his right. Gives him some time to load up. He throws, and it's intercepted by the Raiders down the near side, and there's that interception that they needed so desperately, and that was Felice Toscano. Big interception, and T. Jesse doesn't throw many of those. But the Raiders with some good coverage in the backfield. And the cornerback making life miserable for T. Jesse as maybe the vision was obscured a little bit. He was given a little extra time, but there's that heat at the last moment, and a great play by Felicio Toscano. And look at him scamper to the outside there. He gets past one and runs it right up to around the 52-yard line. So at the 52, the VI Raiders take over here. Chomaluk, handoff. And maybe a gain of, might even be right to the line of scrimmage, maybe plus 1 yard, but Riker Sandusbury just not given a lot of options here. As soon as he grabs the ball, he's being tracked very well by this defensive line, and they seem to shift over very well to plug up any holes. And of course, with the field being wet, wet turf out there, makes it hard to cut and switch back. So you really got to pick your line in the rain here. Second down for the Raiders, big down. They've got two in motion. Fakes the handoff, looking downfield. He's got a duck and cover. There's that O-line or D-line. And right in on him, Cody McMahon with the sack. Cody McMahon getting a little measure of revenge for his quarterback, T. Jesse, helping to do a quick turnabout here as the Raiders are going to be forced to punt this ball away. Yeah, and even if he was able to get away from the clutches of Cody McMahon, he had Roman DeJula there and waiting. Tumbling ball through the air, takes one bounce, now waiting to touch it as a couple of Raiders come in. There's flags everywhere. And there were a couple in very quickly for the Raiders. One of them was Kamyar Muhammad. And he was the first one in there. But a couple of flags on the play, and we'll have to see how this pans out. But I don't believe the Raiders maybe necessarily gave enough yardage there. They're just the officials talking it over now. Right around the 35-yard line or so. So a hair under 4 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. It's 9-0 if you're just joining us. touchdown by Cairo Berry. And as I mentioned, it was Kamyar Muhammad, and he's getting the penalty here. And I believe it was a 15-yarder, so that one definitely a bit of a gut shot here for the Raiders, but they're just going to have to bear down and try and work this defensive magic that they've come up with a few times here on this home field. And the near side official saw something he doesn't quite like with the chains set up. Wants to make sure that they're exactly where they need to be. And of course, a 2-point safety as well garnered by the Westshore Rebels, as Riker Sansbury was unable to get out of his own end zone there on a handoff, and the Westshore Rebels with a 9-0 lead here. Looks like the ball will be somewhere around the 53 of the Westshore Rebels. A couple of players out there trying to keep active, keep the blood flowing. One of them, you saw Andrew Mattis jumping up, trying to keep the blood going there in those legs. As I mentioned, with it being cooler and raining out, a little different environment here for these players. Oh, I see there. It looks like there's a little bit of equipment problem with the with the chains there. With, as you can see on your screen, it looks like one of the plastic housing pieces broke, and that's going to keep it from standing upright the way that they need it to. I guess you could liken it to maybe a broken tent peg or something of that nature, or a tent pole. And I think what they're going to have to do is probably the best option is to just grab some tape and start going to town on it with the tape. A little MacGyver job, if you will. Always so interesting, the different dynamic of having these games in the fall season as opposed to in the heat of the summer, the long daylight hours and the different dynamics on the field. It really changes how the ball looks and the different shadows that are cast out there on the field. It's a completely different game when it's a nighttime environment like we have here. Last regular game of the regular season. And the only thing in doubt at this point is if the Westshore Rebels will indeed finish 10-0 with a perfect season, or if the VI Raiders have something up their sleeve here for one last little Cinderella song here to end off the season. Just wanted to send a shout out to sponsors J.E. Anderson Associates. They've been providing a full suite of land development, legal surveying, and civil engineering services on Vancouver Island and the surrounding Gulf Islands since 1959, with offices in Victoria, Nanaimo, Parksville, and Campbell River. They're here to help you with all of your land development needs, and that's J.E. Anderson and Associates. I'd like to thank them for their sponsorship and helping keep football alive here. What a fun season it's been. And there's still more magic to be had in the postseason, but we got to wrap this one up before we get there. There's a handoff to Hardisty, and he gets found right at forward, gets an extra few yards as he plows right into the center line with Andrew Mattis in tow. Andrew Mattis getting hold of him before he was able to just power forward and get those extra couple of yards. See how Hardisty comes in. He's so ready. His arms are perfectly ready to clamp down on that football, particularly his left arm, and he's a very technically sound running back. One in motion on the far right, now one on the near side. There's the throw downfield, and that one's caught, picked up by Kieran Poissant, and he breaks one tackle. He heads to the outside, and he's right near his own sidelines. He made one dance, and he's finally dropped down, and it looks somewhere around the 30-yard line. So a big play as Kieran Poisson reels another one in, and T. Jesse just picking targets now and finding them. Kieran Poisson, and actually I believe it was he was the week 6 offensive player of the week, and look at that turn right at the last second. As I said, the field's wet and damp, but even on that turf he was able to change direction, and that garnered him a number of extra yards. So Cairo Berry was offside on that play, and it negates that big throw. And a bit of a break here for the VI Raiders as the Westshore Rebels being called on the offside. And with the amount of real estate they made on that throw, I'm sure Kieran Poisson would love to rewind time and have that play be onside. And now Jesse going to work. He's got Darren Hardisty on his left. Hardisty swings out to his side, but he's going to hold on to the ball, and he goes forward, and he's brought down. And good defense by committee, as the Raiders just didn't offer much up the middle, and they were finally able to close the loop there. Brevin Arnell, the defensive lineman, staying in the perfect path, and that's going to bring about a change of personnel on the field for both units. Garen Hardisty was open to the left, but at that point there was so much coverage in front of T. Jesse that he was unable to see him over on the swing out pass. Third down, and the Rebels set to kick away here.
Let's go, Raiders!
AJ Carr in the backfield ready to receive. There's the punt. Almost exactly where he needs to be. Carr, he took a heavy hit right off the hop. And that was a solid point of contact. Shamal Sterling, the linebacker, really dropped his shoulder, but AJ Carr, he absorbed it well and hung on to the football. That's the most important thing. As Carr finds it, it's a little more difficult in that rain, and you saw he took a heavy hit off of his right shoulder from Shamal Sterling, who was the first one in on that play. Raiders now looking for a little bit of offense here, going to work from their 27. Ben Chomiluk had a look. He heads upfield, puts his head down, and he grabs a few more yards. He actually probably picked up close to 7 on the play. And Chomiluk, one of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league. He's got some really solid footwork, and I love the way that he just ducked underneath that first tackle and grabbed those few extra precious yards. Matthew Oshdoy over on the left of your screen there. Will he have a big game or a big second half like he did just a few weeks ago as he lines up over far on the right? There's the throw. Oh, and it's intercepted as the intended receiver falls down and intercepts that ball. I told you that this field was going to wreak havoc at some point, and there it is, the first victim, the VI Raiders, turning the football over on that interception, and that was collected by Josh Hoyt, the defensive back. In the right spot at the right time, and the intended receiver was turning to face the ball. He slips, and that's a tough break for the Raiders as Ruben Bonsu, who had that big catch earlier, he was almost in the exact same location. But that field is wet, and he went for a slip, and there was just nothing that could be done on that play. First down, there's another handoff, but this time it's not Hardisty. Running it down, Malik Gagne-Smith, and now he's collected as the Raiders come up. And that's Nathan Halyuk in on the tackle, and really on that play, they just seemed so driven to get in there quickly and cut down the space and territory for the running back to make moves. As As a quick look at Kieran Passant, had that big catch brought back on an offside call. Second down. T. Jesse throws up over the middle, and that one's a little too far. He was looking downfield. Isn't that an interesting play? He went back to Malik Gagne-Smith, the running back, had changed things up and headed downfield. So the play before, he's running the football, and then the next play, he's the intended target downfield. Malik Gagne-Smith, but once again, the Raiders defense helping get them out of this little bit of a hole, and that's going to bring the first quarter to a close, and that's a 9-0 stamp by the Westshore Rebels. A touchdown strike from Cairo Berry, and the 2-point for the safety as they sacked Riker Sansbury in his own end zone. So they switch positions on the field here, but it's going to be right near the center line again. And now they've got the look that they like. As I said, just a shade behind the center line here. Look at that formation in the backfield for the punt here. Looks like it. Oh, they did the fake, and it looked like an interesting formation. They're running it, and once again, they go to Malik Gagne-Smith. He broke one tackle, and now he's broken a third. Is he going to swing out far to the left? Can they catch him? And they do. But not before he gets down around the 17-yard line, and Malik Gagne-Smith, they go to the honey pot a third time, and they strike. A big play by Malik Gagne-Smith, and it's crazy how they keep going to him. A handoff on the first play. He's trying to send him downfield on the second, then on the third. There's that sneak play. It looked a little suspicious with where they were lined up. And if not for the efforts of A.J. Carr, it's a good thing he's a speedster. He was able to bring him down, but is it just a momentary stoppage? Huge play by the Rebels, throwing it out to the right, and there's the reception, and just kept out of bounds. Looked like maybe about the 3 or the 4 yard line where they knocked Kieran Passant out of bounds, but he got the catch and the clock stoppage as well. So decision time now for the Rebels. How are they going to try and punch this one in? That ball was exactly where it needed to be, and Marcus Harvey, he just wasn't able to challenge from that position. A very well thrown ball, and it was right where it needed to be. First and goal for the Rebels. There's the snap. T. Jesse looking. He's got to get out of the pocket. Now he runs into more trouble, and he's grabbed, wrapped up, and he's down. Big defensive play by the Raiders, and they're stoked down on the field. Nathan Halyuk getting in there, and he got both arms on the quarterback, and that was about all that he needed to do. Got some assist after that. You saw T. Jesse was looking over to his right, and he scrambled away from the first tackle. Oh, and he got caught from the backside from Nolan Bascom. Nolan Bascom getting a hold of him, and he just wasn't letting go. Jesse loading in the shotgun, throws it down to the far side. It was caught, but was it out of bounds? They're saying it was caught for a touchdown. And Cairo Berry's got his second of the game as he was out wide, kept his feet in bounds. And you can see that this throw was just timed perfectly. Great catch by Cairo Berry, and it was almost the exact same mirror play as down at the other end of the field in the first quarter. And Cairo Berry gets his second TD of the evening. And the point after is punched through. Marcus Jones kicking that one up and through, and that's good for the 16-0 lead. Westshore Rebels in control here in quarter number 2. Cairo Berry with some good looks from T. Jesse, who's really been dialing in and focusing in on number 3. And why not? I mean, Kieran Poissant's had some great catches too, but Cairo Berry just really stretching the field, and he's a hard receiver for cornerbacks to stick with. Very fast runner, and you saw it there as he swung out to the right. And he hits pay dirt for the Rebels. Looks like they're actually switching over footballs for a moment, as the ball that just scored the touchdown looked like it was a little wet, so they're going to tend to it over at center field there near the official PA and timekeep area. There's a hard kick downfield. Once again, AJ Carr in the backfield and reverses to Oshdoy. Oshdoy, he's grabbed, and that's some very close-up action right near the camera. And that was a good look at Ashton Lepard, wrapping up Matthew Oshdoy, who had basically felt like a career game just a few weeks ago here on home field as he exploded in the second half. And once again, there's that reverse. And he tucks it in under his left arm, but he just couldn't get away from the outstretched arms of Oluwafunmi Okunlola. Getting in on that tackle. Raiders from about their own 20. There's the throw, and it was bounced up, and it's intercepted by the Rebels as they head back the other way. Oh, and just clipped up in time. That was DeMar Honstein. DeMar Honstein, it was that powerful hit that bounced the ball off of the intended receiver's shoulder, and he was in great position to collect that one. And Honstein with the interception, that's going to get the O-line right back out on the field. T. Jesse didn't have to wait too long. Strong out-of-town support, as you could expect from another Island team. As you could see there, it bounced off of the shoulder of Paul Romanoff. And now another dash, Garen Hardisty, and he skips into the end zone on that quick run. And the running back has the 3rd touchdown of the game as he high-fives T. Jesse, and he's going to speed off. He's got plenty of that to burn. He's a pretty excited young man. As Garen Hardisty excited to punch that one into the end zone, and he just managed to get out of the way of that first tackle. Reaching over, Sterling Henry nearly grabbed his right shoulder pad, but he was just powering through so quickly. And he takes one skip into the end zone, and it's suddenly a 23-0 game as the Westshore Rebels putting a real stamp on it here in this second quarter. And it was an unfortunate interception, the second of the game here for the VI Raiders. The first one on a slip play, but it was that heavy midair collision that bounced the ball off of the shoulder of Paul Romanoff and right into the arms of Honstein. And that's the tale of the tape now, with just a shade under 12 minutes remaining in this second quarter. Westshore Rebels firmly in the driver's seat at the moment. The Raiders have had some moments of defensive brilliance, but a couple of unfortunate interceptions, and that's really changed the course of this football game. High, long punt. Collected by AJ Carr, no reversal this time. He cuts to the middle, but he's wrapped up, and he's going to get brought to the ground, as there just really wasn't a lot of room there once he made that first cut. Had 3 white jerseys in on him very quickly. And the VI Raiders have a lot of work cut out here for them. AJ Carr, really, you can see he tried to make that first cut and he shook that first tackle, but he was collected in the backfield by Sebastian Lambert. Tied him up and then got some help and assistance to bring down AJ Carr. Chomaluk. That ball was tipped. It's way up in the air. Oh. Unbelievable. That ball bounced way up in the air after that touch in the backfield. And if it's just waiting to see what the call on the field is here. Might be a very fortuitous thing for the Raiders here to have avoided a potential turnover situation again. Chomaluk fakes the handoff, backs out of the pocket, swings out to his right. He's going to go for a little bit of a run, and he gets pushed just out of bounds there by DeMar Hohenstein, and Hohenstein was the one with that interception just a few moments ago. As Ben Chomaluk getting direction from Sean Arabsky and the rest of the coaching staff there on the sidelines. And Jake LeBurs, the offensive coordinator. Chomaluk, such a strong runner. I love that little fake he made to the inside. And actually, pardon me, that was Cole Bunting that pushed him out of bounds, not Hohenstein. Second down now for the Raiders. Ball right near the 20, and now they kick this one downfield. Takes one bounce and two. Collected in the backside by Barry. Barry tries to send down to the left side. Skipped over one tackle and he broke another. And now he's finally pushed out of bounds. It looked like he might even get loose as he has a couple of words over by the Raiders bench. And Cairo Barry very active here so far today. He's having a little exchange there with Marcus Harvey. Looks like they're both smiling at this point. Cairo Barry, it's that little, look at those double stutter steps before he really started powering forward, and he got a good block on the backside by Manny Mansoray. Mansoray giving him some extra real estate to work with. First down now. There's the handoff. Malik Gagne-Smith. He's grabbed and brought down. That was a good tackle by the Raiders. And one of the two towers of power, as I call them, that's Brevin Arnell, the defensive lineman. He's in there on that tackle. Between him and Jordan Uman-Kunze, there's a lot of power and a lot of strength. And look at him reach around and get a hold of the running back. That's a sterling tackle right there. Looked like he was out of the play, but he made it work. Back into the shotgun. Chomaluk throws, and it was just tipped at the last moment. And it looked like maybe for a moment that Matthew Oshdoy might be able to get a piece of it. But the ball was thrown well enough that it wasn't intercepted, but that will bring a change on the field for the Westshore Rebels, and T. Jesse will go and take a break. It would be interesting to see if they try and go back to the well one more time after that trick play where they faked the punt. But they're definitely set up a lot differently in this situation. They're going to try and punch it through the uprights here on this punt. There's the kick, end over end, and it looks like it's good. Yes, they make the field goal. And the ball was kicked right around the 38-yard line, so another 3 points up on the board. Marcus Jones putting that one through, and he's getting tons of high fives and love from Connor Way as a linebacker helping his kicker celebrate the most recent 3 points. That makes it 26-0 in favor of the Rebels, and the game script looking very similar to opening day here on Wakasaya Avenue when the Rebels finished off the game with a 69-0 win over these same VI Raiders. And the Raiders now going to work with the football at their 35. Two in motion. There's the handoff working out of the backfield, and there's a committee there ready to tackle them. And a couple yards on the play for Jacob Gilman. Gilman, one of the hardest working and most warrior-like Raiders out on the field, and you can really see as the games get more intense, he's probably one of the players that they lean on the most. Matthew Oshtoy lining up far right, 2 in motion on the left. Chomiluk, he saw trouble coming and he just had to duck and cover. Flying in from the backfield, Manny Foccio was headed right like a Scud missile towards Ben Chomiluk. And I think that might have been a timeout call by the Raiders. We'll have to wait for the official word here, but I think it is a good timeout if Sean Arabsky is doing that. And looks like they're bringing out Jaden Playfair to test his fortunes here out on the field. Or at least bringing him out to the front line here. An interesting formation by the Raiders. What do they have in store here? Well, they are just going to punt the ball away. Ball is high, takes a bounce in the backfield, and oh wow, managing to spin out of the way. Chris McLarty, he's being tackled by a concerted gang effort there, led by the Raiders, but Nathan Halyuk in on the tackle, but a very well played return there as he paused just long enough to get the ball turned properly downfield and pick up some extra yards. As the Rebels just can't do anything wrong, it seems like, whenever they have possession of the ball. T. Jesse with the 1 interception earlier, but it's been pretty smooth sailing for number 5 and company since. There's the snap. Handoff to Malik Gagne-Smith. He's got a good front running push there, and he'll push right through him to get further downfield, and right about the 50. He was down as the whistle was going, but Malik Gagne-Smith, he just wants to keep running with the football. And he was a big reason for them punching in that most recent touchdown, as he's really garnered a lot of yards today, and they've been trying him everywhere, on the run, on the throw, and on the sneak play. Number 30, Malik Gagne-Smith. There's a quick wide out. Cairo Berry broke some tackles, and he's finding some room. Is he in for his 3rd touchdown? I don't think they can catch him, and that's his 3rd. Cairo Berry with his 3rd. And he is just on fire. I did see a flag on the field, but I don't know if that's going to have any repercussions for this touchdown strike. Cairo Berry has just been so much to handle for this VI Raiders defense as the officials talk things over down on the field. Right around the 15-yard line, but look at Cairo Berry just turn on the Jets, and neither Marcus Harvey or Kaya Saunders able to catch up with the speedster. So of course the touchdown is good. As I said, it didn't think it was going to interfere with that scoring play. Marcus Jones looking to make it 33-0, and he does. Puts it through the uprights. And a commanding lead with 6:36 remaining here in the second quarter, as the Westshore Rebels continuing to lean on Cairo Berry and the throwing arm of T. Jesse, and that was such a well-designed play by Cairo Berry, and he's just done an incredible job of using Tyler Metcalf up in front of him, as Metcalf has helped clear a path for him and helped him pick up so many extra yards on that scoring play. Metcalf with a very much an unofficial assist on that touchdown, with some big yeoman's work clearing the track for Cairo Berry, and he's got 3 TDs this evening. And as I was alluding to earlier, the Westshore Rebels fans, they travel very well, especially here on the island, and there's some good representation. We saw a lot of red shirts out in the parking lot, collected in the backfield by Carr, fakes this time to Oshtoy, and he gets wrapped up and brought down. Oh, and AJ Carr looks like he's in some discomfort there as he gets up off of the field and removes his mouth guard. He'll head off, but it can't be easy always returning that football. And a lot of big men on the field to contend with. AJ Carr really felt it there as the special teams units for the Westshore Rebels have been very strong here this evening. A look at Tate Cassie, the defensive lineman for the Rebels. Going back to work, Chomaluk, hands off. And the running back took one bounce off of big number 44, that's Praise Odegon. And no yardage made on that play. Riker Sansbury, he's had a tough time this evening getting those Jets going. Had to concede that safety back in the first quarter. Ben Chomaluk may have to run himself out of trouble a few times here. And there he goes. He swings out to his right, heads towards the out of bounds. He slips up, and that was a good play as he moved it forward and getting that ball up ahead to Ruben Bonsu. Bonsu was that intended target early in the second quarter when he slipped and the ball was intercepted. So it probably feels good for Bonsu to get a touch and get his feet moving with the ball as he and his teammates talk things over. The Raiders really backing up to get into their huddle there, but it looks, the Raiders incurring a penalty on that last drive. And unfortunately, the ball is placed just inside their own 10. So a difficult uphill task here for the Raiders on the back of that most recent penalization. And you can see that some of the Raiders looking a little bewildered on that last play as the far side official making sure that the proper number of personnel are out on the field. So the Raiders, lots to work to do here. One lining up on the far side, and they'll just punt this one out of danger. It's a good far kick. And looking downfield and grabbing it, there's Chris McLarty. McLarty heads over to his right, gets wrapped up, and 3 dark jerseys bring him down around the 43-yard line. So that's where the O-line for the Westshore Rebels will go to work. And T. Jesse and Cairo Berry, is there more for their script today? You can see having to reach up over his shoulder, Chris McLarty. And he got his head down and just started powering downfield. And there's the throw to the outside, and that one was through the hands as Ethan Picard getting a shot in the QB role. As I mentioned prior to the game, there was a good chance that T. Jesse would maybe play maybe most of the first half. And indeed, they've brought in Picard here to probably finish up this half as he tried a swing pass out to his left, and that one was incomplete. Second down now for the Rebels. Ball around the 44, has some time. Picard throws, and it's caught down the seam and being tagged down to the ground. Kieran Poissant has another catch. This one will count on the books as Picard finds him and delivers the ball, and it's very close, if not making the first down. I think they're going to do a measurement here, but it looks very close from where I'm looking down where the chains are set. And his look at Marcus Harvey and big number 85, Adam Woodward. Well, it looks like third down and short yardage situation. Picard moving right up behind the center as there's some sort of delay down on the field. And I think Picard is trying to get some direction from the sidelines there. Oh, they're going to have a hydration break here as well. $33-0 if you're just joining us here. BCFC football on the final night of the regular season. And the Westshore Rebels very much looking at this point like they could finish the season with a perfect 10-0 season, and isn't that just one of the ultimate goals? But of course, there's some postseason still left. There's the quarterback sneak. Did Picard get far enough? And yes, the backside official is pointing downfield, indicating that they made the first down. So Picard on the quarterback sneak, getting just enough as he was caught there by Nolan Bascom. And Bascom is a very big man and very tough to try and push over there at the offensive line. But a fresh set of downs now await Picard and company. Two in motion on his right. And he's going to swing it out that way. And the catch is made by Malik Gagne-Smith. Gagne-Smith trying to scramble out of the grasp of Marcus Harvey, but Harvey will help him up. And it looks like maybe a gain of 1, possibly 2 yards on that play.
Yes, sir, Kaya. Drive city.
Ethan Picard in relief of T. Jesse now. 2 in motion on the right side, and he's going to throw it there. Is it intercepted? No! Just bouncing between 2 different players' hands, and the most important one being Kaya Saunders, and he nearly, or did he intercept that ball? That was very close. It looked like it juggled, and it looked like Saunders had it for a moment. Let's get a good look there. And they did keep the ball off of the field. I believe that it was an interception. Unless they're ruling it that it touched the ground, and that must be the call on the field, but it looked very close. Looked like the Raiders nearly sold it that they had kept that ball from touching the field, but that was ruled an incomplete pass. Regardless, it looks like the Rebels are going to punt this one away, and they do. They angle it towards the near side. Takes 1 bounce in the dirt. Is there enough yards? Now they'll pick it up. Hardly anywhere to go as they get knocked out of bounds. AJ Carr finally touching the football and immediately surrounded there. Very well played actually by the Rebels to angle that football and make sure that they gave just enough yards, but nowhere to escape for AJ Carr. And around the 16-yard line is where the Raiders will have to set to work here with 2:34 remaining in this first half. Rebels up 33-0. Chomaluk hands off on the far outside, stopping up. There's a flag in the backfield as they try and push forward and finally slam down to the ground. AJ Carr, once again, he's been getting a lot of touches on the football today. He hasn't been able to move the chains maybe as much as he would have liked, but he's certainly getting opportunities. Looking maybe a little banged up out there, but You can't blame him. He's had some tough returns from the backfield. A good look at Nicholas Schenk there, the offensive lineman, number 61. And also number 52 on your screen there, Robin Rydberg. And he's had a solid season for the Raiders. Two in motion on the right side. Chomaluk looked there initially, but he might have to try and dive through. He's all grabbed up. And that'll stop the play. And unfortunately for the Raiders, they just are being swarmed so quickly. The defensive lineman getting in there very quickly, and that's going to bring about another change of personnel for the Raiders, having to punt this one away with a little over 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Cairo Berry, 3 big strikes this afternoon, and he's been Mr. Go-To. Very fast set of wheels, and he's been getting open exactly where he needs to be for T. Jesse to find him on the field. There's a punt. It's blocked in the backside, and who's recovered it and where? And it's the Rebels coming up with the ball on the blocked punt, and they're going to be deep, deep in VI Raiders territory for this set. Olgashi getting his hand on that football on that punt attempt out of the VI Raiders zone, and that's a bit of a tough knock for the Raiders to absorb here late in this second quarter. Rebels with outstanding field position on the back of that block punt. The line is spread out. Malik Gagne-Smith, and he runs it in. He headed straight up the middle and then made a quick cut to his left. And Malik Gagne-Smith celebrating in the end zone, and that was all due to the defensive line blocking that punt and putting him into perfect territory. And the Westshore Rebels really flexing on both the offensive and defensive side of the football here this evening. Malik Gagne-Smith, he's probably had a very memorable second quarter here. And look at that changeup as he just gets out of the reach of I guess it was Matthew Petula, as Petula tried to reach out and grab him. And there's the point after for the 40-0 lead. Marcus Jones giving his lineman a good slap there, and why not? They're in celebration mode, and it would take a stunning turn of events here for the VI Raiders to potentially ruin this perfect season that the Westshore Rebels have put together. Luciano Coombs setting the ball there at the 45-yard line. And with just under 2 minutes remaining in this first half, the Raiders will get the football back. Hard kick downfield. And once again, it's A.J. Carr. Carr surveys the field, and he is tackled immediately. Connor Way getting his right arm on him and hauling him down. A.J. Carr, though, with a decent little run back there. Gets it to about the 26-yard line for the Raiders. The Rebels getting direction from the sidelines there. Dexter Janke and Rob Lervold and Lerone Robinson, the offensive assistant, and Phil Slater all helping out there. And these players reacting very well to the instruction today. Chomaluk, hands off once again. And a trip up in the backfield is going to negate much forward momentum for the Raiders. And I'd be surprised if they get more than a yard on that latest run. And a good look at Praise Odegon, the defensive lineman, number 44, who had that big, nearly, Riker Sansbury just getting demolished there at the last second. Boy, these Rebels don't let up off the gas at all. Chomala, 3 in motion on his left, and now he's going to throw it there, but it looked like a little bit of confusion downfield as the Raiders, Ruben Bonsu, looked like he maybe needed to get up field maybe just a few more yards before he made that turn. And for the Raiders, that's going to bring about another punt situation here, and they're going to have to be careful after that most recent block punt by the Rebels. There's the punt, and lands right exactly on the center line, takes a couple of skips, and picked up once again on the backside by Chris McLarty, and he rumbles down to about the 53-yard line. Chris McLarty, he's a big product, and he really runs with purpose out there. You see him, he's got very powerful strides as he takes that ball downfield, and you know it's going to take a very hard hit to slow him down. You could see 3 players in there trying to make that tackle as McLarty used his big frame. Ethan Picard swings it out to the near side. Millie Gagne-Smith jumps up, gets away from one tackle, and he's hit straight on by Marcus Harvey, and that's going to bring about a still play. And Jacob Gilman in there as well. One thing I definitely have to say that favors the VI Raiders is they have been staying more disciplined in this game so far than their last couple of games with the Rebels. They've managed to keep the penalties to a minimum. Unfortunately, the couple of interceptions this evening and that block punt have resulted in scores the other way. Picard in the pocket, throws down the middle of the field, and it was he was intercepted in the backside. What a great recollection there. And I told you when it heats up, look out for number 6, Jacob Gilman with the intercept. And with less than, look at that sportsmanship there, being greeted by Kieran Poissant, and you really like to see that. You know, they know it's not easy on the other side of the football when you're the team that's a heavy underdog in the matchup. And good on Kieran Poissant for that sportsmanship, letting Gilman know that his tenacity is not gone unobserved. Gilman, probably one of the most intense VI Raiders. And look at him just make sure that second effort to secure that ball before he was finally brought down to the ground by Ethan Johnson. There's another run up through the middle, and this time it's on the back of Bryson Stavast, and Stavast just put his nose down and kept chugging forward here, making it to about the 47-yard line. At the Raiders 47, Chomaluk with 12 seconds on the clock remaining in this first half, throws to the near side. Harmon Ahuja reels it in, but he's collected there by 2 white jerseys. And that'll stop the clock with just a few seconds remaining, so should be time for one more play here in the half. As Ahuja makes his first completion of the day. I think he was only the intended target once in the first quarter. All right, the clock winds down and we're into our final play of the half. Does Ben Chomaluk have any magic in the reservoir? Takes the snap, has some heat coming in on him. He's being forced out of the pocket, throws to the outside, and he just gets rid of it, and that should ought to do it for the first half, with 40-0 being the scoreline here. The Westshore Rebels leaning heavily on Cairo Berry. He's punched it in 3 times. And T. Jesse, he may have thrown 1 interception earlier in the ball game, but He's been money ever since. There's T. Jesse with that beautiful strike, finding Kieran Poissant. And Cairo Berry with his first touchdown of the half, and he wasn't done yet. Ben Chomaluk had his receiver slip, and once again, Poissant nearly made it into touchdown territory there, but no matter. Cairo Berry, one finger in the air, 2 feet in the end zone. Matthew Oshtoy not able to get the same sort of traction he did a couple of weeks ago, and Garen Hardisty, he's been an animal with the football. But look at that running put on display by Cairo Berry. And he's really put on a show today. Same with Malik Gagne-Smith. Look at those legs just pumping as the Westshore Rebels are good for a 40-0 lead here at the half. But we got more in store. It's looking like maybe a perfect season. But only the next 2 quarters will help secure that one. We'll be back.
think the team is ingrained in the community here, and it's something that, being part of Vancouver Island Drives and Vancouver Island Raiders, we felt like was a perfect fit. We want to support local teams, local businesses, and we feel like these are the guys to get it done this year. So we're super excited to get involved with the team. So let's go, boys. Let's fire it up. Woo!
So it's 40-0 here off of Wakasai Avenue in beautiful Nanaimo, British Columbia. I'm Lorenzo Jensen. Thank you for being here with us this evening for the concluding game of the regular season. Two teams obviously in different directions and outcomes after tonight's game, but you have to give it to the Raiders. They haven't gone away quietly, and they certainly have another 2 quarters of football here to try and make a statement, put up some points on the board, and grab some respectability here at home as they wind down this season and look forward to a lot of changes next year. Andrew Harris coming in full-time. Sean Arabsky doing a great job on the interim as the head coach. And they're going to work together, I'm sure, beautifully next season. As I mentioned, out east, Andrew Harris, the general manager for next season and head coach, he's been doing some scouting reportedly in the Toronto area particularly. And also just wanted to share with you a couple of scores. It's official now, the Okanagan Sun finishing off their regular season with a 46-7 win over the Valley Huskers, and that was at Exhibition Field at Spadina Avenue. And the Prince George Kodiaks, they're down 34-21 right now to the Kamloops Broncos at Hillside Stadium in Kamloops. And of course, we're right back to the action. The game in Kamloops got underway an hour before we did. And there's that onside kick attempt by the Raiders, and the ball is caught in midair by Tristan Remis Aravallo, and he'll bring that one in and get this first drive of the second half underway. And indeed, it looks like Ethan Picard, he'll be out there. So as alluded to earlier, there was only ever going to be a little bit of work in the first half for T. Jesse, and he's done as much damage as he's needed to do this evening, connecting with Cairo Berry for 3 touchdown strikes, Garen Hardisty with another. And Picard, he's just going to hand off to Malik Gagne-Smith, picks up a fast route to the left, and there's an immediate flag on the field as Gagne-Smith's helmet snaps back, and that's going to be a very blatant 15-yard penalty that unfortunately is going to have to be recovered. The flag's coming out immediately, and they're just assessing that call out on the field right now. And it looked like that was Aiden Thompson on the infraction, and that's going to move the ball downfield. And the ball right around the 40-yard line here. Picard looking first to his left, throws it, and there's the catch. And brought down, but not before picking up some more yards. Pharrell Yakin-Kenfak reeling that one in, and he gets a few high fives from his teammates as they continue to move the chains here on this opening drive. Ethan Picard settled in there and getting some solid looks. Yakin-Kenfak with that most recent catch, and he'll line up over to the right of quarterback Picard. He's in motion now. The ball comes to his side, and a good play on the outside by the cornerback, getting there in time, Matthew Oshtoy. And there's that quick, speedy coverage that he's known for, and he's down on the field. It looks like he was almost thinking he might have had a chance to intercept that, but he got his hand in the way and did what he needed to do. Having such an explosive game just a few weeks ago here on home field, Matthew Oshtoy was just so prolific in that game against the Langley Rams. There's the snap. Looking way downfield, airing it out into the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. And Yakin-Kenfak, he got the drive started, and he's the one that finishes it off as he gets downfield in a hurry, and Ethan Picard finds him in the end zone. And another major up on the board for these Westshore Rebels. They've been strong on both sides of the ball today, but you're seeing that both of their quarterbacks are very capable. And I was looking at some of the stat differences between T. Jesse and Ethan Picard, and really the only difference is the average amount of yards is about 3.5, 4 yards on average on the catch. Here's the point after as Jones punts it through, and we've got a 46-0 score line. Pharrell Yakin Kenfak getting in on the scoring as Cairo Berry has done, and Garen Hardisty on this evening on game number 10 of the regular season for the Westshore Rebels, and they are almost looking a complete lock now to round out this regular season in perfect form, and what a statement year it's been for the boys in white and red. And there's a good look on the near side. Connor Way, he had a big play in the second quarter that really helped his team get some distance between them and the Raiders on the scoreboard as they line up to punt this one away. And once again, I'm sure it will be A.J. Carr that collects it in the backfield. He looks downfield, tries to cut towards the middle, pushed off of one of the blocks and got a couple extra yards there. Looks like he hung on to the football as he hit the ground, so that's where they'll go to work. But again, A.J. Carr looks like he might be favoring his right arm a little bit as he heads off field, and he's really gotten banged up this afternoon. A good look at Andrew Mattis. Mattis had a strong first quarter, and that was a solid shoulder thrown there by Luciano Coombs, the defensive back, stopping A.J. Carr's run, and I think that's why Carr was holding his arm like that. Solid hit there. Very matter of fact. There's the throw down the side, and there's a completion. Well done by both the quarterback, Chomaluk, as he hooks up with Ruben Bonsu, and Bonsu starts this third quarter the way that he started the first quarter of the game, with a good reception downfield. Can these Raiders put together a scoring drive here? 1st and 10 from about the 47-yard line of the Raiders. Chomaluk looks to hand off, and he does, and he maybe gets line of scrimmage on that run. It would be interesting to see if they can get Matthew Oshdoy involved the way that he was a few weeks ago as they were swinging passes out to him and picking him out downfield. And if they're going to put some points up on the board, you got to think that they're going to have to spread it around the receivers a little bit here in the hurry-up offense. They got to beat out the clock. It's in motion. Chomaluk rolls out to his right, throws the ball, took a bounce, and it was nearly intercepted as Riker Sansbury had it go off of his right shoulder. And once again, it was a tough ball to try and reel in and nearly intercepted by Josh Hoyt. Hoyt had that interception earlier in the game on a very similar play when the ball bounced off of the receiver's shoulder. Yeah, and you could see he got his right hand on it, but he was immediately met by Bryce Baysabi. The defensive back was immediately there, and there's a good shot of the head coach, Dexter Janke, for the Westshore Rebels, talking things over with Rob Lervold, the offensive coordinator. And someone's picking up a procedure call here, but it was hard to say if the offending team was indeed the Raiders, and by the change of personnel on the field, I would almost have to believe now that the Raiders are going to have to throw it away. They were able to execute in time on the previous play and get the ball off before the play clock counted down, but now they're going to have to punt this one away. And maybe a bit of an unforced error here on the part of the Raiders, and a low tumbling kick takes a bounce off of the turf. And once again on the backside, rumbling away, there's Tyson McLarty. And McLarty, always good for probably 10 to 15 yards on those returns. He's just such a big player to bring down. Very strong and well built, and he's got a good center of gravity Always keeping his head up, though. He looked like someone clipped him on the left hip. And it's enough to slow him up and get the stop. Picard getting ready at the line here. He's got Malik Gagne-Smith over to his right. One in motion on the near side, cuts back into the middle. Gagne-Smith makes 2 cuts, and he almost broke away from that second tackle. But just a good second effort. Sterling Henry was able to just get enough of his jersey to help keep him corralled and get him down to the ground. But Malik Gagne-Smith, he's had some excellent runs, and he's just so good at cutting, even on this field that got pretty wet this evening. Look at him juke out of the way of that first tackle. And as I mentioned, if not for Sterling Henry, play back underway, thrown out to the other side, and there's a big run happening on the part of the Rebels. And popping up with the football, the Chris McLarty once again. They're going with the hot hand, and he's just been bulldozing his way forward for yards every single time as big number 87 gets that little side out throw. And that first move was great, and look at that speed he picks up as he's breaking away from Gilman there. And hopping out of the way was Nathan Halyuk. Another fresh set of downs, looks immediately to his right, and the catch is made. Look at that big man trying to bring him down, and finally they'll wrap him up. Tyler Metcalf, and he was the one that was pushing up ahead, helping Cairo Berry and Kieran Poissant get huge runs earlier in the game. Just dropping his shoulder, and then he got some help actually on the near side from Kwame Franklin. Kwame Franklin helping provide a block, and some good committee blocking here by the Westshore Rebels. And as I keep alluding to, they've done such a good job defensively, but they're supporting each other very well on the football here. Picard takes a few steps back, dumps it over the middle on the screen play. Malik Gagne-Smith gets away from one tackle, heads out to the left. He's getting another block downfield. He's getting towards the outside line, and he's just in, I think. I think it's a touchdown, but it's hard to say. No, they're saying, I think, just outside, maybe a couple of yards out. And did he get injured on the play? No, he pops back up. Malik Gagne-Smith. A little worse for the wear, but he really made some good yardage there. And again, his mates are blocking so well in front of him and downfield as that pass was dumped over the middle, and you could see the Kaya Saunders tried to get to him first, and he just got pushed out of bounds before he goes tumbling into that final cone on the touchdown plane. But they're very close to striking distance here, and can Ethan Picard help get this one inside and continue to build this lead? He hands off, takes a hit. Did they make it in and through? Touchdown, Rebels. Ethan Picard hands off, and the rest of the work done by that man, number 26, Manny Mansoray, and he had a big play in the second half, or pardon me, the second quarter, and he does so again here in the second half as he gets love on the sidelines from Garen Hardesty and crew. Another masterful performance this afternoon by the team in white and red. Look at him just power down, put his head down, and he got just enough to get across the goal plane. And it's 53 and now 54-0 in favor of the Rebels. So the Rebels continuing to find ways to drum up offense here, and their blocking downfield has been top-notch today as they support each other, making their way into the end zone. The most recent of which being Manny Mansoray. As the offense gets spread around here, of course, Cairo Berry with the big 3 strikes today. The 3 touchdowns for number 3. Kind of poetic or symmetrical, something like that. So the game having very eerie shades of the opening day of the season here at home for the VI Raiders, in which they dropped the 69-0 decision to these same Rebels in white and red. Luciano Coombs punts it downfield. AJ Carr this time with the switch over to Riker Sansbury. Sansbury shakes 1 tackle, 2, but he's into the arms of Oluwaferani Okunlola, who stops the play and moves him out of bounds. And that's where the VI Raiders will go to work. Just want to give a shout out to some of the Roll Focus crew here today. Chris out there getting some great shots. Same with Julian down on the near side camera. There's a shot from him as he'll get you right close and tight into these scrums and huddles from the near side. Also to Mike, who keeps everything running so well for the Roll Focus crew. And there's a shot of Chris. He's working hard in the corners, as they say, and he was getting all geared up and plasticed up, make sure that all of the equipment stays nice and dry, and you're getting this beautiful shot. There's Riker Sansbury being helped off the field, or at least somewhat assisted anyways, as he's had a tough afternoon here, tough evening, particularly that one safety play where he got hammered in their own end zone. But yeah, these are the people that are bringing you the great shots tonight, and we really appreciate the job that they do. Back in action, Chomalik rolls to his right, throws the ball. There's a completion and knocked down, but it's some good news for the Raiders as they add in a little bit of offense again from Miguel Dominguez. Dominguez hauling that one in, and Ben Chomalik with another reception, or pardon me, pass reception to his credit. Looks like they're going into a bit of a hurry-up offense now. Shade under 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Chomalik rolls out to his right. He's got to get away from 1 tackle, and he does. He's just going to keep running, and he gets out of bounds right near the first down line. And I think they're going to mark him just a few inches shy of that first down, so there'll still be a little bit of work to do here to try and tidy up and get the new set of downs. And there seems to be a little bit of discussion between some of the officials on the field. A good look at the quarterback, Ben Chomalik, and that was a very efficient run there. You saw him roll out, but he's so deceptive, and he really makes these players bite. And you see there, he's just enough of a move to get away from the outstretched arms of Logan Hansen and get out of bounds. But as I said, I think just a few inches shy of the first down, so three in motion on the right. Chomalik, he's going to roll out that way, throws it, and just out of the reach. And once again, the intended target there was Miguel Dominguez, but he went to the well just one time too many there, and now maybe a bit of a crunch time decision here for the Raiders with just a few inches to make, but what could prove to be a pretty important down here for the Raiders. What does Chomalik have in store? Once again, three in motion on his right. He's just going to take it. Tries to head up the middle, but it looks like he got stuffed, and I don't think he got there, as he looked like he was going to maybe use one of those runners in motion, but he held onto the ball and tried to punch it up through himself, and he pretty much was Almost looks like a small loss there as he gets slammed down to the ground by the defensive line. And Roman DeJula in on that tackle for the Westshore Rebels. Chomaluk has an interesting formation in behind him. One of them being Matthew Oshdoy, who now heads out to the left. And now he just punts it himself as he takes it. It's collected on the backside by Gio Lanuzzi. He'll just skirt out of bounds here on the near side, right close to about the 48-yard line or so. Very interesting play as Ben Chomaluk just took the football. As I said, it was a pretty interesting formation in behind him. And sure enough, he just takes that ball and does a quick punt downfield. And Gio Lanuzzi, the defensive back, just takes that ball out of bounds. And that's, once again, another good shot of Chris down on the near side field, getting you that close-up shot of Gio Lanuzzi. There's the pitch. Picard swung it out to the right on the pitch action. A good look at Sean Clossy, the running back there, number 28 for the Rebels. And you could hear somebody down on the field yelling hockey. There's a snap. Picard deep in the pocket, looking downfield over the middle. It got tipped, and that one dangerously, but falls into the AstroTurf. And had a customer nearby, Felice Toscano, might have had something to say, as he's already got one interception today, as he's been patrolling back there. That was in the first quarter. You can see the little double pump action. Oh yes, and it did go off of the hand of Chris McLarty. So McLarty, one of the taller players on the field, and he did get his hand on it, but the ball was kind of dangerously close to Felice Toscano. Ball sitting right at the center field line. And the officials going over something here. As he gives instructions to the Westshore Rebels. They're gonna punt this one away. Ball's in the turf, but they do get the punt away. In the backfield, it takes a bounce, and just jumping on it are the Raiders, and there's a flag on the play. And looked like Jacob Gilman wasn't very happy with something that transpired down on the field before he pounced on that football. But there are 2 flags on the field, so we'll have to get that settled. And you see a little discussion there as Adam Woodward talking things over with Oluwaferemi Okunlola, the defensive back, as the referees sort this one out and collect their flags from the field. And you can see the way that that ball bounced, and Gilman emphatically gesturing that there was a flag on the play. But all things being considered equal, ball near the 25, quick action to the outside. The ball is caught, and Harmon Ahuja bounces off of 1 and now 2. Did the ball come loose? No, they're saying that it was down on the ground, I believe, as Harmon Ahuja makes that second completion of the day. Ball spotted right around the 41-yard line. Near side shot of the football field and what some of the fans are seeing down there. There's that quick pass to the outside, and Ahuja made a good bounce. And actually that was Okunlola once again who got that first touch. And there's a stoppage in play. There would look like there was 3 in motion on the right, on the near side of the field, and now there's a flag thrown late as Ben Chomaluk is talking things over with the defensive coordinator there. Some more discussion ensuing down on the football field as we get down to about the 4 minutes remaining in this third quarter. So a penalty was assessed against the Raiders. They haven't had tons of them today. They've been more disciplined today than they have in the last few home games. But they've just had such a difficult time with some of these turnovers, a couple of interceptions. Two very unfortunate as they bounced off the receiver's shoulders and into the arms of the oncoming Westshore Rebels. Honstein with a big interception. Chalmaluk with two in motion on the right. And that ball was up and through the arms of Matthew Oshtoy, who had to climb the ladder a little bit, try and grab that one. And the ball was thrown very quick. You could see him having a quick look at his gloves there. As I mentioned, the field's been fairly well moistened by the recent rain, and it makes things very difficult to collect, especially when that football's thrown very quickly. And looks like Oshtoy is going to try his fortunes over on the right side of the field. Chalmaluk rolls out to his right, throws a screen pass. Riker Sansbury grabs it, and he's outside.
Get your 50-50 tickets ready. Get your 50-50 tickets ready. At the end of the next play, we'll be giving away.
And again, another flag on the back side of the field. And judging by some of the body language down on the field by the Raiders, it looks like it is going against them. Oh, and it was something, I'm not sure what that symbol means where he touches the kneecaps, but it might have been a low tackle or something of that nature, a low bridge as they sometimes call it. But it's really bringing the football back into Raiders territory. And that's a tough call for the Raiders to soak up at this time. There's a good look at Caden McFadden, big number 62 for the Raiders, and he's got to help jumpstart this O-line here if they want to try and pin some points up on the board here. There's the handoff, and just a few yards from Felice Toscano. But once again, more flags on the field.
All right, here we go.
And some of the Westshore Rebels trying to pull their mates out of the pile there and away from the decision makers on the field.
$292.50. 5, 5, 2, 8, 9, 0.
Pardon me, that was Bryson Stavist with the him and Toscano both have those similar red long-sleeved shirts on, so that was where that initial cue came from. I've always liked the color scheme, though, for the Raiders, the classic black with the red numbers with the white outline, the white trim. It looks pretty smart.
5, 5, 2, 8, 9, 0, 7.
54-0 here in this third quarter. It's been all Westshore, very much like opening day, and they've had a Cinderella-type season. And just taking a knee in the end zone will be the Raiders for the single point. And just taking the safe route, the Raiders, they had that difficult play in the first quarter with Riker Sansbury trying to scramble out of the other end zone. And that cost them one more point than they just gave up here. So Braden Thornbert as he just enters the field. Quick snap. Picard over to his right. He has some heat coming, and he's caught in the backfield for the big tackle. And there's something for the Raiders to build on. Good job by the Raiders to flush him out of the pocket and get that tackle for a good loss of yards on the play. As Kaya Saunders showing his speed out on the field there for the Raiders, and he's going to be an important part of the collective group next season. He's had a pretty good season here for the Raiders. And again, another flag in the backfield as there was a little bit of motion on the part of the Westshore Rebels there, so I think they're going to incur a few yards penalty here. And indeed, it does go against the Rebels, so be 5 yards back from the original scrimmage line. So they've got some real yardage to make up here if they're to get into first down territory. They're probably going to try and air the ball out. Picard bouncing in the pocket. He's going to try and run this one out. Makes a cut to the inside, but he's nowhere near where he needs to be for the first down as he's forced close to the out-of-bounds area there around the 44-yard line. The Westshore Rebels still secure in their 56-0 lead here early in the fourth quarter. Once again, the rain starting to come down and be a factor on the field. But the players have been doing a great job of adjusting, though, their speed and their cuts. And there's still been some great runs on the field, particularly Cairo Berry today. And Garen Hardisty, play back underway. As some of the Rebels giving pats to Malik Gagne-Smith and to Marcus Jones, who angled that one out of bounds just the way that they drew it up. And that's where the Raiders are going to take things over here, is right near the 30-yard line. Probably mostly for pride's sake, I'm sure that the Raiders would love to try and get some points up on the board here in this quarter if they possibly can. 3 in motion on the near side. Now it's thrown, but it was just underthrown a little bit. And Riker Sansbury, all he can do is attempt to try and reach out with his right arm as that one bounces off the turf and moves him into second down. The officials doing a good job, though, of alternating the different balls in to keep the ball about as dry as they possibly can. There's a good look out on the field. Number 71, Big Quinn McDonald, the offensive lineman for the Raiders, and he's going to be called upon here to try and buy his quarterback some time. Chomaluk, quick action. Now he's going to throw it downfield. It's a good Armin Ahuja, and it was a contested ball. And right there on the spot was Ignacio Solorzano, who got enough of that football to keep it out of Harmon Ahuja's hands. And that big pass attempt is incomplete, and it's going to bring about a punt situation here from the VI Raiders. Quickly out onto the field, there's Luciano Coombs lining up on the left side as the Raiders get ready to punt it away. downfield. Good run in effect here from the Rebels. Oh, and just upended with that low tackle. Here for the Westshore Rebels to see if they can add something else to this big scoreline that they've padded this afternoon. Such a powerful, dominant team this season, and really only the Okanagan Sun have been able to try to emulate the success that they've had this season, but certainly not a 10-0 record. There's the handoff. One arm trying to drag down the running back, and finally brings him down, and we actually got some visuals up here. I told you this roll focus crew is hard at work, making sure that we get you as much of this football game as we possibly can. There's a look at all of the inclement weather, the rain coming down, and it makes you think about what these players have to go through out on the field. Offensive situation now here is Picard. Into the shotgun. He's rolling out. He's got to be careful. He's hearing footsteps behind him. Throws it downfield. There's the catch. And tripped up out of bounds. Nice reception there from Kwame Franklin. And he moves the chains and gets a first down here once again for the Rebels. Westshore really exercising their different options here, and Kwame Franklin catching that one. And Matthew Oshdoy getting credit for the tackle. There's the snap, faked handoff, throws it down through the middle, and it was caught. Sneaks in underneath Jacob Gilman, but still picking up the yards. That was Joey Riome with the catch. And again, they continue to find different targets here as the Rebels march this ball downfield. And they're totally within striking distance here. And it's 1st and goal for the Rebels. James Mullen, the offensive lineman, settles in to snap this ball. 9 seconds on the count. Throwing it in the end zone, and it's nearly picked off by the Raiders. But the ball does fall incomplete. And that was very close to being intercepted by Kaya Saunders. You can see some of the ball boys there on the side talking about how close that play was. Through his hands, and like I told you, the football is getting wet out there, and it's hard to grab those. And that look on that youngster's face says it all as he puts his hands through his hair. Here's another opportunity, though. Ethan Pickard, one in motion on the inside. He drops the football, and it's loose. The Raiders might have recovered. And I think it would have been considered a fumbled ball as it laid there, as Pickard took a step back and the ball fell out. But are they considering the ball having been down as he went down with it? I think so. And you could see, yes, it actually is. He had his arm going back in the motion. So, but it was the Raiders that did recover the football. But I guess they're considering it an incomplete pass of sorts. At any rate, they are going to try and punt this one through. Marcus Jones out for the 3 points. And it is indeed 59-0 in favor of the Rebels. I'm sure they would have loved to have come away with 6 or 7 there, but they'll definitely settle for that add-on. And as the rain continues to pelt Nanaimo District Secondary School field, the points continue to pile up here for the Rebels as they play a very complete game this evening, both offensively and defensively. They've picked out so many different targets, but Cairo Berry with the 3 touchdowns this evening has really been the big storyline, as they retired T. Jesse even before the first half was done, and it's been Ethan Pickard the rest of the way, and he's been great as well. He's really spreading the wealth around. The Raiders with a look now. Chomalik. And there's flags as there was some extra motion there, and I'm not sure if they picked out Colton Zepik for the Raiders. Yes, indeed, and I think that's who it's going against, but it's a 5-yard penalty on the procedure. Well, for everyone that was worried about our water reserves here on the island, this is certainly a welcome sight. All of this precipitation that we've had, but it certainly has made things interesting for the football players on the field. There's the handoff down the far side, finding some room on the outside and finally brought down. And that was a pretty solid run by Bryson Stavist as he gets a good pickup there for the first down. Bryson Stavist with that run. A rather stoic look at quarterback Ben Chomalik with the rain pouring down, still giving it his all. Another handoff to Stavist, and he powers forward for a couple extra yards, but that's about all he's going to get as he's met by Ty Ochitwa. Ochitwa with the tackle there for the Rebels. As I mentioned, the ball boys very busy today, ferrying the balls to and from the sidelines to help keep them dry and game worthy, I guess you could say. Chomalik has Stavist in behind him. Now 2 in motion on his right, and he looks there for the short pass, and he finds his man. And a good catch brought down right just around the 51-yard line. And that's Ruben Bonsu once again, and that's his 4th completion of the day. Ruben Bonsu, unfortunately, the victim of some wet cleats when he tried to find one of those passes this evening, and that was an interception that definitely aided the cause of the Westshore Rebels, but he's been solid ever since. 3 for 3. Chomalik fakes the handoff. Now he tries to roll out, throws the ball down the middle, and it was a hard rifling pass, and it goes off of the hand of Colton Zepik as the defensive back could only knock that one down. And another good shot there right down on the field. You saw number 33, that's Shamal Sterling, the linebacker, that's had a lot to say about the defensive outcome here this afternoon and helping keep the scoreline as pristine as he has. Chomalik, 2 in motion on the right, hands it off. And it looked like that was Gilman that grabbed that one, but it might have been A.J. Carr. I can't say for sure if that was a 6 or an 8. It was indeed Gilman. He doesn't always get those, but he'll take it. And he gets, looks like about 3 on that run as he drives it right up to this side of the center line. The Raiders in the huddle here, talking things over. Harmon Ahuja lines up wide on the right. Interesting formation by Oshtoy in the back set there. And there's a call from the far side official, and I don't know for sure, but it looked like it might be going against the Raiders as they write something down there. But Ben Chomalik heading over to the sidelines to get some extra instruction here as the rest of the Raiders are into the huddle, but he'll rejoin his mates. And you can see, once again, big number 71 there, Quinn McDonald. And he's been solid on the line today. And now they've moved Matthew Oshtoy over to the far left as the backside official getting the look out there that he wants. From the center line now. Chomaluk with Gilman right behind him. And he does hand off once again. There he goes. He found some room down the middle, and he bounces off of 2 tackles and brings it out all the way to about the 38-yard line. And, you know, he can go quiet for stretches, and he's normally known for his fearless antics in the backfield on the defensive side of the ball, but a good job incorporating Jacob Gilman into that run, and he saw him shake off that first tackle, and then finally wrapped up by Braden Look as the defensive back got both hands around his waist. Chomaluk with the first down to work with. Fakes again. This time he hands off to Gilman, and he's not getting away from Shamal Sterling, who was right there on the spot. But they've been leaning heavily on Gilman here, and that's an interesting look as he's getting carries here with the ball late in this fourth quarter. Some very sizable men there you can see for this defensive line. Ty Ochitwa being one of them as he lines up. Oh, and they try and go to the well one more time, but he was stuck in place. And once again, Gilman, he was grabbed by that same number 33. Shamal Sterling just seems to be plugging up those gaps. But still some good sportsmanship there up on the line, as you saw Robin Rydberg, the offensive lineman, giving some props to the opposition. Good look at Ruben Bonsu, who's had the majority of the catches this afternoon, or this evening, pardon me, for the Rebels. Third down, and once again there's that quick grab and punt by the quarterback, grabbed in the backfield. Trying on the near side, he looks like got around all of the Raiders, and he's got no one left on the outside that he's going to have to contend with, and all the way back. We do see one flag on the backside of the field, but Braden Look runs it all the way back. What does the flag say on the field? Will this be a repeat of the play from Kieran Poissant earlier in the first quarter? Oh, there might have been some holding on in the backside there by the Rebels, but we're going to have to wait and see, as it looked like 2 players had grabbed the one. It might have even been Gilman that they grabbed, but regardless, for now it is showing up as a touchdown. Just still waiting to see what the backside official had to say about the play. And this one may have come back, but we're going to have to wait for this. So a fortuitous moment for the Raiders as far as escaping that full run back touchdown that Look had. Braden Look with that great run, but it gets negated by that backside penalty as the flag hit the field. And I believe it was unnecessary roughness, but I can't say 100%. But certainly a lot further back in their own end zone to work, go to the Rebels. And they'll try the carry there with the ball going to Shane Clossy. And the running back looks like he got maybe a couple of yards on that play. Good look at some of the offensive line. There's number 66, Josh Vanderwoord. And he lines up just immediately to the right of the center. A little bit of movement on the line there by Tyler Metcalf, and that might have been just a little too much movement. I'm not sure. It looks like it's against the Rebels, but we'll get that sorted in a moment here. So second down now with just a minute 41 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the score remains 59-0 in favor of the Rebels, but they did just have a TD called back on that run back by Braden Look. Manny Mansoray, it's been a little while since we said his name, but he also got in on the touchdown extravaganza here this afternoon. Cairo Berry with 3. T. Jesse getting retired before the end of the second quarter. And it's been Ethan Pickard the rest of the way here, and he's looked pretty comfortable this evening, picking out targets and really spreading the ball around. And the Rebels kick this one away. Oh, and it bounced off of Carr's arms, and he's got to go back to pick this one up, and he just dives on top of the ball, and that's the safe play. And actually, pardon me, that was Paul Romanoff. I thought that was an 8 there for a moment, but this time it was Paul Romanoff who had it bounce off of his arm, and all he can do is scramble and get on top of the football. And around the 42-yard line is where the Raiders will go to work with this football with just under 90 seconds to go here in this football game. And what will be a perfect season for the Westshore Rebels, at least as far as the regular season is concerned. There's lots more to be decided in the postseason, but for now it should be a fun bus ride home. Some movement on the near side of the field, and it might have been Matthew Oshtoy. A little premature. Harmon Ahuja, good look at him. And he's had a few receptions here this evening and some good ones, but he's just been unable to repeat his touchdown reception performance that he had a few weeks ago here on home field. Chomaluk, 2 in motion on his right. He looks down through the middle. Oh, and the football's right through Oshtoy's hands and off of his helmet, and that's got to be frustrating. He had it there for a moment, and I noticed earlier he had the white gloves on, and he has since ditched them. But even so, that football was difficult to hang on to. And Chomaluk, he had to get that one away in a bit of a hurry. And yes, he was looking around, actually went off of his shoulder. But at least he was able to control the fallout, and he didn't have this one bounce way up in the air. That's always a fear for a wide receiver. Chomaluk rolling quickly to his right. Now he throws it up over the top, and that one was almost intercepted, but a good effort on the backside by his receiver. And that could have very easily been a turnover if not for the extra effort by Bonsu to reach back and make sure that Bryce Beasabi didn't get control of that one as you see it bounce off of the turf. Down to the final 43 seconds of the fourth quarter. And it was only 9-0 after the first quarter of play, but the Westshore Rebels really started to open things up, connecting with Cairo Berry. And that ball's in the turf, but will they get it away? Yes, they do. No block punt this time round as the ball bounces down off the field and it touched one of the Raiders' hands. There's the flag on the backfield, and now there's another flag go flying, but there was a scramble for the football. And it looked like Manny Mansoray was in a little bit of difficulty after he was trying to get to the bottom of that pile for that football. But he looks to be okay as he heads off the field. Maybe it looks like he was favoring his left hand a little bit. But regardless, the Westshore Rebels should be able to close this one out now. Just 28 seconds remaining on the clock. And They did the majority of the damage they needed to do before T. Jesse left the field. But they've had a great stand-in here from Ethan Pickard, and he's really distributed the ball well, and he's used his running backs very conscientiously here in the third and fourth quarter. Unfortunately for number 32, Braden Look, the defensive back, he had that touchdown called back. He ran it all the way from about his own 14-yard line and made it all the way downfield, but for the flag on the play. And now the clock winding down, and it looks like the Westshore Rebels are just content to let the body of work speak for itself. And they'll take a knee. And that is a wrap on this one. The Westshore Rebels with a 10-0 record to finish the regular season, and they consummated on the very field where they opened up the season with a big 69-0 win over these same said VI Raiders. And the Raiders, for their part, since that first meeting of the season, they've gone through another interim head coach, Sean Arabsky, taking the reins, and it's been such an interesting journey for these players this season, but you can tell that they're ready to get back to the whiteboard, the drawing board, and to just keep working on that culture, as the VI Raiders have a lot of good news in store next season. Andrew Harris coming on board to help out this crew, taking over the head coaching duties, and he's already been doing some scouting in the Toronto area and hopefully ready to fortify this team. And there's a look at that important touchdown strike to Cairo Berry. T. Jesse was throwing it often and lethally in the first and second quarter. Look at that throw to Cairo Berry, and that was really the most emphatic touchdown of the day. But look at Malik Gagne-Smith. He had tons of power in his runs today, just about getting into the end zone. Some good defensive action, but the Raiders had some penalties today that really turned them back. There's that run by Braden Look. That touchdown was called back on a penalty, but he sure turned on the Jets. And what a run that was, as the Raiders finish off their regular season. But it's, in the end, it's the Westshore Rebels doing their dance. It's a 59-0 win, and the Westshore Rebels are headed to the playoffs on a hot streak.